In a world of witches and ogres, will this couple be able to not fall into a really predictable story? They kinda have already. Comedy with very light supernatural. The guy is technically an ogre and has to protect a childhood friend who's a witch, but it's a comedy, so he can defend himself so well he makes a bully fall off the anime unless the story forces the opposite. It's the kind of comedy where the story adapts to the jokes, so it depends only on how good they are. On one hand, I literally laughed out loud with one that caught me off guard. On the other hand, it was only one, I saw a lot of it coming, and many times it got somewhat silly. The sequence with her turning to paper describes it all. She wants to show off her magic, uses it on herself, turns into paper and flies away, including vomiting confetti, and... that one made me laugh, but she falls on an open sliver, the guy destroying the wall from the bully's house, and her rebuilding using his hair as a sacrifice. If the confetti is fun and... the motivation is forced, the solution is forced, and it's all dull because it's so forced. We have some action. She uses magic to make her bags light, then flying to save someone, and having to make them both light so they wouldn't fall. The reaction to light is cute, but the two getting depressed after as a side effect is quite biteless. There's also a bit of romance, with him caring for her and having to protect her because there's a prophecy, again, forced. But at least her part felt quite natural. The part that's cuter is how one cares about the other, but there's little of it. The personalities, if nothing else, come through quite well. The visuals are basic. Nothing really gets your attention, if not in the negative. The power of her scepter being a light in the fixed shape, making it look like a broom, is a good idea, but ends up looking lazier than clever. The person they save looking like a background character who never gets enough detail, even when they're between the main ones. They barely have enough detail, but it's really noticeable how little it is. And it's a shame it's so little. That beginning with them as kids, with her having destroyed her house, seems to suggest something dramatic that goes nowhere. Good ideas, like the jokes that work, seem to be the exception amid him spitting his food due to a surprise a second time, or him being bitten ending up just to be stoic for no reason, until he has to act. That explanation of where ogres come from, followed by the main guy saying he already knew, the father saying he wanted to be a young woman's familiar, and the hyper-predictable spit that makes even less sense for the first surprise not having such a reaction, is just bad. As much as her arrival through the window, with this face that I wanted to find funny, but it's almost nothing. Despite the magical encounter being interrupted because they have to clean the glass, being almost nothing. At least her sitting is kinda funny, her thinking to herself too. Only then, she sacrifices something he likes without telling him just to do it later. Does a kabuki pose an explanation face, and the joke is, she's a dumbass, let's laugh at the suffering she causes. He says something so she doesn't feel bad at least. It's so much potential wasted that I can't recommend it. It might improve, but I wouldn't be surprised if it continued more dull than good. Please don't you forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Yuck.